Today I will tell you the story of the infamous mad emperor of Rome, Nero. As the sun rises over ancient Rome, the mighty city stands at the peak of its glory. Marble palaces gleam, soldiers march through grand gates, and the air is filled with power and ambition. Born into the royal bloodline, Nero was never meant to rule so soon. But when Emperor Claudius died mysteriously, young Nero ascended to the throne at just 17. At first, the people admired him. He was charming, well-spoken, and full of promise. But behind that innocent face was a dangerous obsession with power, art, and control. Nero loved the stage more than the Senate. He saw himself as a god among men. In the early days of his reign, Nero won the hearts of the Romans. He organized games, festivals, and grand performances. He would sing on stage dressed in golden robes, forcing nobles to applaud until their hands bled. His ego grew unchecked. Inside the palace, luxury became his religion. Lavish banquets stretched through the night. Golden goblets overflowed with wine. Exotic fruits, roasted meats, and music filled the halls. Nero sat at the head of it all, young, powerful, and untouchable. But as the years passed, paranoia began to consume him. Nero trusted no one, not his advisors, not his friends, not even his own family. Anyone who dared to question him disappeared. Down in the dungeons, screams echoed through the night. Political enemies were tortured, nobles were executed, and whispers spread across the streets. Fear ruled Rome more than the emperor himself. The people began to speak in hushed tones, gathering in corners, afraid of being heard. Soldiers patrolled the streets, watching every move. Nero, high on his balcony, stared down with suspicion. He sought pleasure in violence. Gladiators fought to the death for his amusement. He watched from the royal box, smiling as blood stained the sand. Festivals turned into nights of excess and madness. Fireworks lit the sky above the palace while conspiracies brewed below. In the Senate halls, whispers turned into plans. Senators, once loyal, began to conspire against him. Outside, in the streets, the people's patience broke. Mobs rose with torches and banners, screaming for justice. Rome burned with rebellion. Nero stood on his balcony, watching the city that once adored him now rise against him. Panic filled his heart for the first time. Under the cover of night he fled his golden palace. With a few loyal guards he slipped through dark alleyways as flames crackled behind him. The emperor, who once commanded legions, was now a fugitive. In the countryside, Nero hid in a small stable, exhausted and paranoid. Messengers brought him terrible news. The Senate had declared him a public enemy. His empire was slipping through his fingers. Alone in the dark, Nero stared at his reflection in a bronze mirror. His crown, once a symbol of glory, now felt like a burden. He whispered to himself, "Is this how it ends?" As dawn approached, soldiers closed in. Hooves thundered through the fields. Nero knew there was no escape. In his final moments, standing beneath the pale morning sky, Nero raised a dagger. His hands trembled. He whispered his last words, "What an artist dies in me." And with that, the mad emperor of Rome ended his own life. As the sun rose, Rome stood silent. Smoke curled from burned buildings. Citizens slowly returned to the streets. The golden palace was quiet. The reign of Nero had ended, leaving behind a legacy of fear, fire, and madness.